Hey everyone, welcome into the program today. As always, we've got another great guest that we're going to be highlighting today, Derek Tate, an awesome and amazing life insurance agent, and we're going to crack into this right now. In order to sell more life insurance, you need an automated, predictable system that works. Hey Derek, what's going on, my friend? Glad to have you on the show today. Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you, Earl. Pleasure. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Oh yeah, man. Well, look, I had the pleasure and the honor of meeting you just over a week ago. So that was great at the event that we had in Nashville with a lot of other great life insurance agents as well. Some of the things that you've been doing since that time has really been, are inspiring. And also just hearing your story while we were there. Take us back for a moment here. When did you actually get started in the life insurance business?
I got licensed about a year and a half ago. I
Okay.
believe it was end of January, February of 2021. And I was still working a full-time job at the time. Kind of went into things part-time.
Hmm.
And then picked up my family. We sold our house and moved and left my full-time job with the VA. So I was working for the government
Wow.
and kind of dove into the life insurance industry. But I'll be honest, I kind of was toe in the water for the
Okay.
first kind of year. Just kind of seeing things how things went. Had some good weeks out in the field, and then I didn't work for a little while, and that as you know in this business can kind of come back to bite you when you stop putting action into it.
Yeah.
But I made a commitment with my wife that come January, I was in full time. So since January of 2022, I've been full time in the business.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. I mean, going back to January, I mean, something was going on. Let's just put it that way. That kind of brought you into the kind of the AJC ecosystem. What were you experiencing at that time? Really before you even became aware of who it is that we are.
Um, I was kind of following the traditional way that a lot of people are running things. I was working in the field, going door to door, which for a long time I thought was going to be the easiest path for me. Um, I enjoyed meeting with people face to face, thought it was a little bit easier. And I was buying batches and batches of leads and I was having some success, but I started realizing that my ROI just wasn't there. I was literally buying leads every week, multiple times a week, dialing the phone, setting appointments, going out there and helping people, but I wasn't really keeping a good track of what I was actually spending. And at the end, I started looking, saying, "Hey, I'm buying batches of leads, putting them on my credit card, going out and helping people, and then I'm turning around and I'm just paying off my credit card and not really putting a whole lot back into my personal pocket." And I just felt like it was kind of a vicious cycle, and was looking for a different way. Um, Went on a couple travel trips, had some good success, and then I had a
Travel
couple that,
trips. Okay. All right.
yep, I enjoyed it. It was nice to get away and to focus on business for a few days. But then at the same time, I had a couple that didn't turn out so well, and had a few $1,000s in expenses, and came up empty-handed, and just kind of put me in a tough spot financially, just because I didn't reap the rewards of what I went out there and did, and I was just trying to figure out there's got to be a different way that I can,
Hmm.
one, not be away from my family for 12, 14 hours a day, even when I'm running locally around the area. And I knew there had to be a different way to go about this.
Had you ever heard of doing things virtually? Had that like kind of been in your sphere of knowledge as far as people doing things, either like on Zoom or over the phone? Or was it just strictly you had just been taught about the whole in home type of thing?
It was starting to become more of a thing over the last, I'd say, 6, 8 months. People in our organization doing things virtually. It To me, I don't know why it scared me. I felt like building rapport over the phone was a lot harder than sitting face to face with people, and it was my own self getting in the way. Because now that I'm really kind of realizing I just need to be myself and be a real person on the phone and have real conversations, things are really starting to move forward. And I wish I would have 6 months ago taken the step to learning the virtual side of things. I got comfortable with. I started feeling like I understood what I was doing in the home,
Hmm.
and I didn't want to change things. I was scared to try to make that transition, but I got in a position where it was like I have to make a transition, or I'm going to put myself out of this business.
Yeah. I understand that, and we've had a lot of conversations with a lot of different agents that kind of have been through that same type of scenario. How long ago was it that you kind of found out about Arturo Johnson Consulting?
Just a little over a month ago. So I've now been in the program for literally a month and maybe 2 days. So it was, I jumped on board pretty much as soon as I found out. A good friend of mine and my direct upline with the IMO that I'm with,
Hmm.
he actually got on board maybe a few days before I did, and he goes, "Hey, this is where I'm going to put all my eggs in this basket, and I'm going to 100% commit to going this route." And I jumped on a call, kind of got a little bit more of the details, and
Hmm.
here we are, and haven't looked back since.
So let's just be real. I mean, it was probably kind of scary initially, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to make this change, and I guess it's kind of like a leap of faith type of thing. But how was it for you to actually like make that decision? Like, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to do it anyway.
It was scary, making the transition. I hadn't really sold anything over the phone up until then. I kind of fell upon a couple policies as I was having my traditional dial days and had somebody saying, "Well, hey, can you just help me right now over the phone?" But
Hmm.
I hadn't really made that transition, so it was a little scary changing everything that I was doing before, as well as I was in a little bit of a hole as far as finances from the previous 3 4 weeks of where I was sitting. So it was definitely scary to make the commitment and jump. But after I kind of broke down the numbers and looked at everything, and I said, "Okay, I'm going to be not putting $30 $40 a day in my gas tank, driving around, going
Wow.
everywhere. I'm not going to be paying this expense. I'm not going to be paying this expense. I'm going to focus on this program and this program only." So at the end of the day, me and my wife talked about it, and we said, "Okay, here we go."
Yeah, I mean, it's good to get your wife on board. Obviously, we all need to make sure that that happens because we know what happens when we don't get them on
Uh,
board with stuff. But I mean, looking at the when we were at the event, in Nashville, what was kind of like your aha moment at that event that kind of really just changed the trajectory of what you've been doing over like the past 10 days?
I would say it was an amazing experience being able to come out there and meet you guys in person at the event. It was first class all the way. Hands down, I wasn't expecting the things that happened at that event over the weekend and the way we were treated. It was amazing. I do not regret that trip at all. But I would say I came away with an action plan. That was the biggest thing. I had kind of gotten in my head, being in the financial spot I had with a few bad weeks in the field, and I wasn't putting in the action that I needed to be
Hmm.
successful. And it was amazing being there over the weekend that I just realized that this isn't a you guys don't just produce Facebook leads and advertising and marketing for us. It's so much more than that. We barely talked about leads the entire
Hmm.
weekend. It was about mindset. It was about your routine. It was about reverse engineering. What is your goal? What is your target? For the last couple of months, I didn't have a goal. I didn't have a target. I was just going out there and doing the motion. But if you're sitting there and you're sitting in a deer stand, wanting to shoot something, but you don't know what you're shooting at, and you're just going to be launching rounds into trees. I mean, you're not going to hit anything. So coming away with a target, a goal, realizing that I have to do X, Y, and Z
Hmm.
every day to get me to that goal, instead of just being busy. That's made the biggest difference. And I still have room for improvement. Every day there's things that sometimes I get caught up in. Oh, hey, what's that email that just popped up? But that
Yeah,
email isn't
squirrel,
serving me.
squirrel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
I still struggle with it just like everybody else does, but I'm conscious of it now. Going, okay, wait a second. I don't need to look at that. I need to be focused on money producing things right now during this
Hmm.
time. So I'm still working on getting better, but that's the big difference is realizing that I walked away with a game plan and a goal and a target and knowing what I'm going after and what
Yeah.
I have to do to get there.
Absolutely. So tell us how that game plan's been going for you over the past 10 days. Kind of talk to us about what you've been doing and kind of the different things that you've seen.
It's been going good. I've definitely my actions have increased. I've been dialing a lot more. Instead of just kind of sitting around trying to find things to keep myself busy, um, sending text message, emails, just trying to activity. activity is my biggest thing that I'm trying to increase right now. The lead flow has been good and consistent. I'm having several self book appointments every day, and then I'm just literally on the phones, dialing, shooting text messages, trying to get a hold of people, get in contact. One of the greatest things I love about this program and how things work is the way, the intention behind the majority of the leads that come in through the marketing. That, most of the guys I talk to, they know what this is about. It's very rare that they're confused about what they put their information into. They know exactly what this is and exactly what they're looking for. And then I just jump on the phone and we have real conversations to see, how can I help you? What is it you need? And let me see if I can figure out the solution to it.
Yeah, awesome. How does your future look now? Now that you're kind of armed with this, and I say that, I know that when we were at the event, right, we all that were there, got kind of deep on some of the personal things that we were dealing with, and I'm not going to take you there, but how is it that you now see your future looking with your career as a life insurance broker?
I see my future bright. I see that I have the the program that can get me where I want to be without slaving away, driving around for 12 hours a day, being on the phone for 8 hours a day for a dial day just to set up appointments. Um, I feel like I have the vehicle to get me where I want to be. And I have the vehicle that when I bring people into my agency and my organization, that I can now start them off on the right path versus doing what I did and experiencing this lead vendor, that lead vendor, doing this and doing that. I feel like now this is a vehicle that's going to get us where we want to go. And I can put somebody in that vehicle with me from the beginning. And I think that's going to make a huge difference of people that come on board and work with me. And
Absolutely.
now it's just my skills are just going to continue to increase every day.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, we talked to, a ton of different life insurance agents through the course of a year, in settings just like this, where they're talking about their experiences and things going on. I mean, if you were to think about a guy that's literally just like you, maybe have had some of the same struggles that you're having, or have had, I should say, and are working through, and they're watching you right now, right? And they're hearing you talk about what you've been able to begin to overcome and what it is that you're building. But they're at that point of, let's just call it the point of decision. Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to wake up tomorrow? Am I going to continue to do what I've always done that I already know doesn't work? Or am I going to listen to Derek, sit here and talk about his experience, and am I going to try and get on that path? What would your advice be to someone that is like on the fence right now about whether or not they should even take a shot at joining the program here at Arturo Johnson Consulting?
I would tell them to, take a serious look at the program and jump on the phone with the team, ask the questions that they need to ask, and just get it all laid out for them, and then lay out what they're currently doing. That's what made the decision for me. I realized that, this honestly, in a lot of ways, was going to cut a lot of expenses from what I was doing before and
Mm-hmm.
not seeing the results. I now have one system, one avenue that I'm focused on, and that's the AJC program. Instead of spending money here, there, and everywhere, and not seeing
Yeah.
the return of my investment. And, is it a little scary to try new things? Absolutely, but you don't get anywhere if you stay still.
Absolutely. Well, man, Derek, I just want to say I thoroughly appreciate you taking out this last 15 minutes or so with me to just talk about what your experience has been like, and even hopefully to give some other agents that are out there some hope and maybe just a little bit of direction. So I thoroughly appreciate you. I know you got appointments to get to. So
Yeah.
I just want to say I definitely appreciate you being here with me today, man. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. Thank you, Earl.
And to you, the listening audience, as I get the right camera on, thank you so much for being here with us today. Go ahead, check out the links in the description, because there is a lot of information that's there that can get you the insight to more of what it is that Derek is talking about. And until next time, we'll see you then. In order to sell more life insurance, you need an automated, predictable system that works.